Hello, everyone, and welcome to the September 2021 installment of How to Leverage the NRMN Network webinar series. My name is Johnny Garza, and I'm the Digital Communication Strategist for the National Research Mentoring Network. Just so you all know, this webinar is being recorded and will later be posted to NRMN's YouTube channel. We will leave time for a Q&A session at the end, so please put any questions you may have into the chat below, and we'll make sure to address those at the end. Just to share a little background of the National Research Mentoring Network, NRMN, we are a National Institutes of Health grant-funded initiative whose entire purpose is to diversify the STEM workforce. NRMN started in 2014, and we have amassed over 19,000 since its inception. And just as a reminder, our next How to Leverage the NRMN Network webinar series will be on October 18th at 11 a.m. Central Time. We'll be sending the link to register in advance in the chat below. And now let's go over our agenda for the day. So today we'll be browsing through the resources on our website, including signing up for our newsletter and accessing our diversity funding opportunities page. We'll show you how to navigate our site, nrmnnet.net, which will be placed in the chat as well. Then we'll go over our webinars and YouTube channel. Katie will then be presenting features on MyNRMN, and then we'll leave room for questions after. Now let's go ahead and head over to nrmnnet.net. So as you can see here at the top above, we have our main links and resources. So when you subscribe to our newsletter, you'll be able to stay updated on all that's happening in the NRMN community. So what you'll want to do, you'll head over to the news tab and you'll click subscribe to NRMN newsletter. Our September newsletter will be coming out soon, so now is the chance to subscribe. We'll be putting the link in the chat below. Next, let's navigate to our diversity funding opportunities page from the news drop-down menu. So right here, you'll see our diversity funding opportunities page. Here we'll update any funding opportunities that we hear of, so keep checking this page to discover more. Or if you have any opportunities you'd like us to post, let us know. Now let's head to our YouTube channel. Right here, where you'll access all of our webinars. Our last career development webinar focused on re-examining your mentoring relationship, as you can see right here. Another webinar that is on here is the first one in our Unconscious Bias course webinar series titled Navigating Microaggressions in Academic Medicine. And that one is right here. We encourage you to view these and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you won't miss a webinar upload. Now I'll be turning it over to Kitty Stinson, our virtual engagement strategist, as she'll be taking us through a deep dive on MyNRMN.
Hello, everyone. Give me just a minute to share my screen. All right. So as of now, you should be able to see my screen, which is of MyNRMN. And Johnny, thank you for the introduction and the preview of what all people can do and the resources they can utilize on NRMNnet. I'm today going to be showing you a few resources available within MyNRMN. Now, if any of you are familiar with this already, you'll know that I'm not going to be able to dive into all of this today. However, I will be going over some of the main features of getting started, such as the search, then also going over My Mentor and how to get started in that. Going over our newest addition to our resource family, the Jobs and Internships Board. Then I'll also be going into Ask a Mentor, just so you can learn how to actually reach out to everyone in the community. And then finally, I'll be going into the Unconscious Bias course and what's available and upcoming within our courses tab. So first and foremost, just getting started, I'm going to be showing you the search feature. Now, so many times when people come in and actually join MyNRMN, they look at everything on here and just kind of get a little overwhelmed with it and see all this stuff for them to do. But I think what's really important is for everyone to come in and just start understanding how vast this is and what the scope of this is. And that way they can really figure out how to hone in on the specific details for themselves. So I like to start with a very broad search term, such as biology. And from there, we can see kind of what all is available just within the scope of biology. And then I can also show you how to narrow this down a little bit further. So we can see from the search term of biology that we're yielding almost 3,500 results. So, but within this, we can also look to actually see what we're fielding here. So first, we can narrow down by just member, which we can see that as the bulk of our results, excuse me. And then from there, we can also narrow it further by mentee or mentor. Then we can also narrow down by groups. We can see that there are 6 public or invite-only groups that pertain to the subject term biology. Next, we can also narrow down by questions, which pertain to that Ask a Mentor feature. That's actually posing questions to the entire community, and I'll show you that in a bit. Then we also have a couple entries from journals. And this is everybody within MyNRMN gets their own personal blog space. And that's a place where you can either post it just to those that you're connected to, or you can post it out to the entire MyNRMN community. And that's when it would publicize here and actually post for this. But then you can also narrow down and filter by institution. We can see that there are a lot of biology people from Medgar Evers College of the city. And I don't know what the rest of that is. College of the City of University of New York, MSD. Then you can also further narrow down by specific interest. So here we can see that there are some that focus just on biology, or we can even see all the different things that factor into biology and get more specifically focused from there. If there are any concepts listed, you can also focus on that. And then finally, you can also search by location. So you can see we've got a lot of different locations showing that we've got mentors and mentees really across the nation. But then I want to show you all the little buttons that are available within here for each and every person. So first and foremost, we can see from this that we're yielding results of both mentors and mentees. And you can see that I'm connected to some, but not connected to others. So for everybody though, you can see that they all have this Ask Me a Question feature. Now, this is something that we found that a lot of people, whenever they were first getting started in the network, were really hesitant just to reach out and ask for a connection and grow their network with people that they didn't actually know and had never communicated with. So we wanted to give you that little bridge just to help you make that initial connection with somebody before we're officially requesting them to connect and join your network. So this is just a place for you to come in and actually start that dialogue before initiating that request. Next, I want to point out that I am actually a mentor in this system. And the reason I mention that is because you can see that despite the fact that I'm a mentor, I can also come in and request mentoring from any of the other mentors in here. Now, this is one of our facets of mentoring that we have available within MyNRMN. And this facet of mentoring is something that I like to refer to as a self-structured mentoring, as opposed to our guided virtual mentoring, which I'll be going over in just a little bit. So for this one, it asks you to update your CV or resume. And then from there, it asks you to go in and send a message. Now, this is a place where you can actually come into this mentoring space and say, hey, I am applying for a K-1 grant. I'm really nervous. I haven't gone through this before. I'm really just looking for someone to help guide me through this. Could you be my mentor through this process? Or it could be, hey, I can see that you are a faculty member in, teaching biology. I can see you do a lot of research and have a lot of grants. That's the type of career path that I'm looking to have. Can you just be my go-to person whenever I have a career question? And other people might be considering making a career change or an education change and just looking for somebody to have a 15-minute conversation with to kind of help them sort through some of that thought process. So like I said, this is self-structured mentoring, and you have this space here in order to actually just talk about what you're looking for and set up the parameters for your mentoring connection. Now, what's really great about this too is that utilizing this requesting mentoring feature, you are actually able to build a network of mentors. So let's say you reach out to this person because you're really excited by their career and you want to know, and you just want someone to go to for career advice. But then you see this person and you can see that they're really active in a organization that you want to get more involved with. So you want to talk to them because it's becoming up to their annual conference and you want to have somebody to go to talk to about that. And then this other person, you can see that they have, they just have connections with a lot of people that you know. And so you would just like to connect with them and kind of just pick their brain about a few things. So you can actually build your network of mentors here in order to really get a robust mentoring, again, network for yourself. So that way, anytime you need something, you have somebody that you can go talk to and reach out to. So there is no limit to how many people you can request mentoring from and who accept that mentoring for you. So moving on, I'm going to go back to my home screen. Now, I am going to talk through a little bit more as we're going through how to navigate this. If you attended the last webinar that we had, the last How to Leverage the NRMN Network webinar, you've noticed that we have changed this up a little bit. And last time I really went into how to navigate in this new site, but I know it still is a bit new for everyone. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit more as we go through this. But so now I'm going to go into my mentor. So My Mentor is our one-on-one guided virtual mentoring platform. So what this really means is that you're going to engage in a long-term mentoring connection, which will disseminate discussion prompts throughout your connection, usually about on a weekly basis. Now, these mentoring connections are set to default at 4.5 months, but if you need to shorten or extend that, you are welcome to make any customizations you need to in order to really get the most out of your mentoring connection. Now, I am already in multiple mentoring connections, so I'll be able to walk you through that. But I also want to show you how to actually get involved in My Mentor, because it's not something that we just sign you up for automatically when you join when you join MyNRMN. You do actually have to, engage in this and opt into joining this. So I'm going to go ahead and click here so it'll load my mentees. And I'm going to switch my share just for a little bit to show you what it's like in this. So this is actually a separate account that I have. It's a demo account, and it's actually a mentee account. But I'm going to show you a little bit just about how you actually get started in this. So if you are a mentor, which means you're a mentor in you're a mentor in MyNRMN. Whenever you come into this page, these will not be radio buttons. This will just be a bulleted list. And instead of seeing select a mentor here, it will say enroll as a mentor. So you will just click that and accept the terms and conditions, and then you're enrolled as a mentor. And that allows mentees to actually go and search for you whenever they're looking for mentees in this program. And so then that way they can actually request you to engage in their mentoring connection. Now for mentees, that's the view we're actually in right now, you're going to select your appropriate path or curriculum, and then click select a mentor. Now for this, we have 3 different mechanisms for you to select a mentor. The first one is actually going through, and these are your top 3 mentoring matches up here at the top. Now from here, you can either click on any of these to actually dive more into them, or even just select and opt in to send them a message to request mentoring from them. The next option is actually to search through our database of mentors, where you can go in and do keyword searches to see who would match your search. And the third option is actually asking the administrator, or which is myself, to actually initiate that request for you. So doing that, I would actually go through and utilize our matching algorithm and select a mentor that I think would be the best fit for you, and then initiate that request for you as well. All right, so once you do all that and you get signed up and you are engaged in a mentoring connection because your mentor accepted, you will then see this screen. And I just went back to my other screen. So you can see that I have several different mentoring connections in progress right now. And so we'll let this one load so you can actually see what it's like inside these mentoring connections. Now, what I really want to point out is that first, this is not a real person and this is a demo environment. So you don't have to worry, you're not going to see any private conversations of mine. And I also want to point out that while all of these are available and ready for me, a lot of them are overdue because, again, I'm in a mentoring connection with a fake person, but I can still go through and access any one of these. So that's one of the reasons I like showing you one that isn't active, because it actually shows how far behind I am, but how I can still get caught up and how I can still work through these. So first and foremost, just to kind of walk you through the structure of all of this. For every screen within MyNRMN, you will see the schedule a video call, but it's especially pertinent for this particular program for My Mentor, because it'll help you schedule those meetings with your mentor mentee. So for this, you would just click schedule a video call. It would pull up the calendar and you can actually schedule appointments just like you do in Zoom. And then that way you can actually schedule those video calls to have those one-on-one conversations. Alternatively, if your mentor is online at the same time or your mentee, and they're also a real person, you could actually just start a video call right here and now, more similar to FaceTime. However, whether they are online or not, you can always leave messages for them. And if they're online, it can be very similar to a text message where you just are seeing that feed of messages back and forth. If not, you can just leave them a message and they'll get a notification about it. There's also a general discussion board where you can just share posts back and forth and also share files. And then we come into our goals. Now you can see that I have gone through and completed some goals, but others are overdue. So let's dive into one of these and I'll show you how you can make edits to this and what you can do to this to actually make it work for you. So you can see that this goal is overdue. However, I am not penalized for it being overdue unless I just really hate the color orange. But otherwise, we can change all of this to really make it work best for us. So within all of the goals, you're going to have a discussion prompt. Some of them have videos, some do not. Some of the prompts are really long, others are shorter like this. But then once you read through the prompt, you'll also notice tasks. Now, these are not tangible things that anybody has to turn in or things are going to be checked back and forth. You're not going to receive grades on this, but instead it's actually more of a talking rubric to help guide you through the discussions that you need to have in order to accomplish this goal. And then alternatively with that, you can also add any tasks if you think something needs to be added, or if you just want to talk about something additional, you can do that here. And then finally, before we get into how to edit all of these, you see that you also have your communication methods all up here at the top. Or alternatively, if you prefer to have text conversations back and forth and share files, each goal also has its own discussion board down here as well. Now, if you want to make any edits to this, let's say some of the language just doesn't really apply to you, you just don't really follow it, or it's just not really what you're wanting to focus on for this work-life balance goal, that's okay, because you can edit this goal and actually make any changes you need to in order to really make this work for you and your mentoring partner. So you can change the title of it if you need to. You can change who it's assigned to you. You can also change the start and end dates so that you can actually make it where it is not overdue. And that way you're not seeing that orange bar there if you don't like it. You can make any changes to this as you absolutely need in order to, like I said, really get the most out of this for you and your mentoring partner. And then once you also make these changes, your mentoring partner will see those changes reflected as well. So you both have access to the exact same mentoring goals and you're just seeing it from opposite sides of each other. So if one of you makes a change, the other one will see it the next time they log in. And the same goes for the tasks as well. You can make any changes to these that you need. Say you don't currently have a job, you're just doing school full time, but you want to know how to make a family life balance when it comes to your school, or you want to make, school and life balance. So anything in here can be changed, anything can be updated, the due dates can be changed, you can push those back. It really is up to you to make this what you need it to be. So then from there, once you actually click all these off, you would select update, and then you would be ready to go on to the next goal and even schedule that out for your next meeting. Then once you get to the end of all of this, and I don't think I've completed this one yet, but once you get to the end of all of your goals, you will also receive a completion certificate, and both mentees and mentors receive this completion certificate just to show that you did complete this thing, because it is long-term mentoring connection. And we hope that, you got something out of this, but this way you have something to show for finishing it, in addition to everything that you accomplished on a personal level going through this. Now, one final thing about My Mentor is that you can see that none of this, if you're looking at the titles here, none of this is really focused on what your day-to-day tasks are. This is more focused on who you are as a person and really helping you grow and get to that one education stage or the next. So it's really focused on a culturally aware mentorship that's focused on increasing your self-confidence, your self-efficacy, and your independence. So like I said, if you want to focus on things that are more akin to your day-to-day, you are welcome to do so. You can add in goals, you can add in tasks, or you can follow and just really try to grow internally as a person too, or even combine both. All right, So next up, I'm going to go back to the MyNRMN home screen, or you could click home there as well. And so that way I can navigate to the jobs and internships board. Now, this is one of our newest features that we just launched in the spring, and we're really excited. It's really taking off. And we have a lot of people coming in to post jobs, so much so that we're actually working on creating a bulk upload jobs. Now, something I want to point out, you can see I am an admin, so therefore I have this because we are working on this, we are testing it out. But I want to point out, because we are still testing this out, it is only available to admins, therefore you won't see this, but I promise you it's coming soon. But this is so that if you work with an organization that has lots of jobs ready, that has lots of jobs that you post out, but you want to increase their offerings and increase that viewership to our network of, almost 20,000 people, then we are working on this for you. So that way you can also share your postings here. But until that point, if you have postings here and you have a whole lot of them and you don't think that you have time to post them yourselves, send them my way. You can send me a message in the network. You can also email me at katie.stinson@unthsc.edu, and I can help you get those posted. But for now, you can see all the different ones that are available in here. They also will immediately go away once they cross their deadline. So that way you're not going to just have to filter through and see which ones are still open. They're all still going to be here. But if you would like to post any jobs or post anything available, keep in mind that this doesn't have to just be a job. It can be any opportunity. So an internship, a call for abstracts, it can be really anything that would be open that you need someone to apply for within the STEM fields. So for all of this, I want to point out the fields needed in order to post, because I know this is something crucial when it comes to, wanting to get something in and wanting to get it done. So just make sure you have your job title, the organization name, the contact name and their email or phone number, the application link. You can set the closing date, and it's really easy to navigate through and set that date. Then you can also enter in any tags just to make it searchable. So that way it will show up in that search that I showed you at the top of the demo. And then finally, any job description and details. And I recommend putting this into a Word document or something, and that way you can just copy and paste it in here. So finally, then you could save it as a draft, and that way you can go back and make any changes to it later, or you can go ahead and publish it, which also will still allow you to make changes, but other people may have seen it the previous way you posted it. So from here, I can also see everything that I've posted, and you'll be able to see that I have posted a lot. Some of them have expired, others are still going. So I definitely help people out with this stuff a lot, because I currently am not posting these many positions, but I help others post them. So if you have anything that you would like posted in here, again, reach out to me. You can see my email address at the top here, katie.stinson@unthsc.edu. Now, everybody else's email address does not show up. This is just because you're seeing it from my view and I'm within my own screen, and because I'm an admin. So don't worry, your email address is not shared whenever you're in MyNRMN. All right, so now I'm going to navigate back to the home screen in order to dive into Ask a Mentor. Now, this is what I like to think of as similar to a Reddit feed, but just more so in a way that you're actually reaching out to everybody within the network. So generally speaking, when you think of, different social media platforms or different networking platforms, you're reaching out to those that you're connected to those that follow you. Whereas this is a way that especially if you're new to the network, or if you're starting on something new and you're just not really sure where to go, this is a place where you can actually field a question to the entire network and have anybody in the network come in and reply to you and actually answer that question. So you're really, able to ask the entire network at one time without trying to pinpoint specific people to request something to. So you can see here that there are a lot of people coming in and asking questions, and there's always somebody available to answer for them. So this is something that's been a really big help for people in the network. Some of these, you can also see that there's more involved here whenever they come in, and there are additional responses to them. And you can just really see how it opens up and how there's more of a dialogue here between multiple people. So this is something that has really taken off and just been really beneficial for those that really don't know where to start when they're getting started in the network, or even whenever they're trying to grow within the network. But this is a great way for you to actually build those connections and find out people that actually know the answers to the questions that you have. All right, so the final thing I'm going to go over today before I open it up for questions is the unconscious bias course. Now for this is our first course. We launched this about a year ago and it has really taken off. And we are so proud of this course. And we've even, as Johnny spoke of earlier, we even had a webinar with this particular course. And I think we have another one upcoming later this year. And we're just so excited. We've been able to work and get to know Doctors Linda Grace Solis and Maribel Fernandez Paul. They are experts in this field, and they really are the ones that put this course together. And we are even working on, revising it a little bit and updating it for this year as well. So I have already completed this course. But if you have not taken this yet, I highly encourage you to do so. It is a wonderful course. There are 5 modules here, and you can see how they're all aptly named. And each one of these modules only takes about 20 minutes to complete. So you can go through and actually read through these, see what's going on with them. And there's additional resources all within inside of there. And then that way you can really just get acclimated with all that is unconscious bias and really just build your foundation for this knowledge base. And once you complete this course, you also can receive a certificate of completion. There are a lot of places that I've seen that are actually requiring their staff or their students to actually take this course. So a lot of places actually want this to be turned in and submitted for credit. And so we highly encourage that and definitely work with people in order to do that. You can see what this looks like. And so yeah, you can see how all of this works. We are also working on adding some new courses in here. We hope to have these ready this fall. In fact, the 2 that we are about to launch all are for mentees, and we're calling them Launching Research. And so we have a Launching Research Part 1 that is getting ready to come out, hopefully within the next few weeks. And then following that one will be a Launching Research Part 2. So so those are up and coming and we're ready to go. And in fact, we are actually asking for pilot testers if anyone wants to get a first preview of the Launching Research Part 1 course. So again, if you are interested in that, just send me a quick email at katie.stinson@unthscedu. At katie.stinson@unthsc.edu. Excuse me, that all ran together for a second. So yeah, if you have any questions about that or interested in it or would like to participate in that pilot study, let me know and I'd be happy to get you signed up for it. All right, so I'm going to open it up for questions now. You can see I still have so much more that I can go over in here, but if anybody has any questions, I want to make sure that we have time for you to answer any of those. So while you're typing those in, I will go ahead and just point out a couple of things that way I can give you some time to type. I mentioned the journals earlier, so I just want to point out what these are. So within journals, we have My Journals, which is where you can actually go in and write the journal. And then we have MyNRMN Journals. So if you would like to post your journal out to the entire broad audience where you can actually reach everybody with what you're trying to share, then it would actually post here to this MyNRMN Journals. And this is what will actually show up in the search field too, if you have something here that is triggered by any sort of key term that is placed in there. So you can see here what different things are put in here. Some of them are looking for mentors. Others are talking about different things that they're affiliated with. Some are asking for input on things or sharing their goals. So there's lots of different things in here that people post about, and all the ones that are populating for me are all things that are attributed and synced up with our matching algorithm for my profile. So whenever you log in here, you'll see different things too. Whenever you come in, it'll actually match things to your profile. So within that too, I also mentioned the matching algorithm. And I'd like to go into a little bit more about what that is. So our matching algorithm feeds most directly from our profiles. So whenever you join MyNRMN, we ask you to complete a profile, which if you ever need to update yours, you can just come in, click the drop down next to your name and select My Profile. And from there, once you select that, you're able to go in and actually make any edits and updates to your profile as needed. And we encourage you to really keep that up to date because we utilize what is in there to help match you with other people and to help make recommendations for you. And you can see that all of those recommendations are here up at the top, and you can see how those filter around for me. But then we also utilize a dynamic algorithm within our matching algorithm too. And so it actually captures how you are interacting within the system, what kinds of things are getting involved with, who you're connecting with. And that way it helps make other recommendations for you that you might not have even thought about. So it can recommend groups and other people for you to connect with, as well as mentors and mentees. So, all right, I'm not seeing any questions come in, and that's perfectly okay. I know I explained things really, really well, so there might not be any questions due to that. But if you do have any questions in the future, you're always welcome to reach out. You can either reach out to me here within the network. Again, I'm Katie Stinson, and you can just type that in and you should be able to find me. Otherwise, you can always reach me via email too, which I'll go over one last time in case you didn't get it any of the times before. My email is katie.stinson@unthsc.edu. All right. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate the time within my NRMN, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Johnny now.
Yes, thank you so much for that deep dive, Katie. It was great to explore and learn about MyNRMN's features. And we encourage everyone to log into MyNRMN today so you can start using these features. Again, our next How to Leverage to the NRMN Network webinar is on October 18th at 11 a.m. Central Time. So you can access it via the link you used to log into this webinar, as well as registering for it in the link we sent in the chat below. Thank you all so much for attending this webinar, and we hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.